Lightweight, powerful, expandable and supporting a wide variety of cameras and smartphones, the MOZA Mini-P is here to be the next awesome gimbal for 2020. But is it really that good? Let's inspect. Hey, welcome everyone, Tech for Our channel. My name is Michael. To shoot beautiful, steady footage, you no longer need a 5 kilo heavy equipment. You can get really decent cinematic footage with a good DSLR or mirrorless device. Undeniably, smartphone cameras and action cameras are catching up, but there are a few important rules that you cannot follow easily with just electronic image stabilization. So if you're a pro, or plan to be, getting a gimbal will increase a lot your movement capacity, the smoothness, the transitions and so on. And if you like filming weddings or similar types of events, then getting the right grade of footage is even more essential, and gimbals become a must. Now, in terms of functionality, the MOZA Mini-P stands somewhere between heavyweight DSLR and mirrorless camera gimbals and those smartphone gimbals that you so well know. And you know, it's a kind of challenge to make a good hybrid, bringing the best out of the two worlds. I think the MOZA Mini-P kind of does it. I think the closest competitor would be something like the Tech G6 Plus, which can handle most of these kind of devices. However, over here we can handle a bit greater payload, up to 900 grams, and right now that's an example for vlogging with the Panasonic GH5 additional microphone and rather small lens, but I can tell you, you can see I'm switching my hands, it's a kind of heavy. In terms of operation, this gimbal is very much like the MOZA Mini S, the MOZA smartphone gimbal. Very similar operation, very similar features, but it's not that portable. Priced at $200 at launch, it is one of the very few gimbals out there that can stabilize action cameras, smartphones, compact cameras, and even mirrorless cams. We know what to expect, and now we start to closely inspect. While unboxing the whole thing, pay attention to the box, which is extremely lightweight but perfectly suitable for being carried as a case. The basic package contains a cam control cable, a plate, a smartphone holder, and of course the MOZA Mini-P. Which biggest advantage is that it is foldable, and the mechanism is an evolution to the mechanism used with the MOZA Mini S, which is its smaller stabilizing sibling for smartphones, one of the best such devices for 2019. Usually I'm very skeptical about folding mechanisms, but the last few tested prove that tech has already reached a level where folding mechanisms are reliable enough and should not be a concern or reason to pass on to something else. There are a few locks. Each of the axes can be blocked so that transportation is easy and reliable. I can't say the build quality is something too spectacular. I find it as weird as on the MOZA Mini S, but looks like that perception doesn't prevent it from being good. Sure, some crackles might be heard from time to time. Integrity is however solid, and everything above the main base is made out of metal and looks to be extremely good and durable. For a moment I thought this thing on the back is a battery cover, accessible by removing these two screws, but this is not the case. Battery is embedded, 7.4 volts, 2000 mAh, and is supposed to last up to 20 hours. That's no joke, and of course relevant to devices with small payload, like action cameras. Yes, you will want to hear about the specs, so here they are at a glance. Total weight with the battery is around 700 grams, lightest payload 130, maximum is 0.9 kilos. Besides the great battery life promised, the 3-axis motors are quite well optimized for power consumption, and they can offer 330 degrees for rolling and tilting, and unlimited 360-degree panning. Bluetooth, mini USB for camera control, you have all the important features to set up for excellent shooting experience. Before you shoot, if you plan to use a camera, get familiar with the compatibility list posted on MOZA's website in case you want to find out about the supported controlled lenses and camera models. Of course, if you're fine to not be able to control the record and shutter button from the gimbal, you can live without them, but the convenience of being able to hit that record from the gimbal itself and zoom in and out when needed is quite a big reason to buy such a gimbal. Unfortunately, the package doesn't offer control cables for each and every model, so you might have to purchase such additionally in case you plan to use those functions. To the unique features, they call it tiny and mighty, and it's one of the most portable gimbals of that kind, and supporting various orientation angles. Thank you for that, TikTok. It ticks all the boxes: multiple shooting modes, phone holder, tripod, carrying case. In fact, on MOZA's website, these instruction stickers are also listed as an accessory. My experience with it is limited to several hours of testing and shooting, and so far I have a few complaints. You will definitely notice that when used with phones that have no stabilization, there still are plenty of shakes. And I did my best to keep my hands really steady. So if your smartphone has some sort of electronic stabilization, results would be, of course, much nicer. The more you use it, the more you will get the feeling that it's rather bulky and is nowhere near the Untitled Mini. Motors are extremely quiet, battery life looks to be fine. I left it on for a few hours and still the indicator is pretty full. Modes are getting switched quite easily. There are the usual controls that MOZA uses on its smartphone gimbals line: zoom buttons, joystick for changing the direction and so on, but I was unable to test the camera connections that well because most of my lenses are too heavy for it. Still, the Canon Rebel SL3 with the nifty 50 was a perfect match, and while not great for vlogging, if you shoot weddings for instance, that could be a perfect combo, lightweight and captures outstanding footage. If you mostly use a smartphone, then MOZA Genie app comes handy. I love the fact you don't have to always go through the portal, just launch the app, connect the gimbal, control it. So simple. As for footage, I will let you decide. From what I see, it is not as good as some other gimbals, but looks like the heavier the device, the better the stabilization might be. My honest opinion about it: truth is that it's designed brilliantly well, looks reliable, very powerful, fantastic motors operation. I didn't feel vibrations even for a short second, but I think it might be a little lost in the sea of filming tools, and the stabilization with some smartphones is not that well optimized. Also, for a smartphone gimbal, that box is bulky. People want now pocket-sized gimbals, and MOZA already have such, in fact quite an awesome one. Action cameras, the both quoted on MOZA's documentation GoPro Hero 7 and Osmo Action, have already good enough stabilization. As for bigger cameras, it really limits your choices. Panasonic GH5 that I use weighs around 700 grams itself, which is about 75% of the payload limit of the gimbal, leaving you very few choices for lightweight lenses. So if you look to use it with a lighter camera, it will do a great job with Panasonic G7 for instance, and most mirrorless Micro Four Thirds, possibly some APS-C cameras, but you can pretty much forget about full frames with good optics. At the end, I think there should be one question you should be asking yourselves. Is it worth the hassle of, stabilizing, bringing extra devices, maybe mirrorless camera? Or is it okay to achieve sort of 80% out of that good quality by using such a small camera gimbal like the DJI Osmo Pocket? The choice is quite easy. For cameras with lens below 1 kilo, that's good. For anything heavier than that, get the MOZA Aircross 2, which I believe is the best value mirrorless cam gimbal you can find on the market right now. Links to both are placed in the description below the video, and if you intend to buy any of these gimbals, please use my links because I get small commission out of that purchase, which greatly helps me deliver better content and costs nothing to you. There also might be a discount code, so look around. And if you've spent that whole time to just watch, hey, so great that you gave me these few minutes of your life. Hope it was well spent time, and if you enjoyed, come back soon, and the easiest way to do that is to subscribe. Also, hit that like button to show the other people this video is worth watching. I'm Michael, and looking forward to see you soon. Cheers!